Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the very first My Healthy Arizona Fit Friday community chat. My name is Lucy Howell. I am here in Tucson, Arizona. I am joined with my partner in crime up north, Denise Meridith, with the world's best connectors. And together we are launching a super cool, exciting initiative, highly collaborative, supporting all the different players and partnerships throughout the state of Arizona with a single mission in mind: to improve population health outcomes for everybody equitably. Taking a look east to west, north to south, and even gamifying this whole concept of healthy citizenship um, through what we like to call the Reality Health Games. So the Reality Health Games will be premiering this fall, October through May, where everything that you do within our network, whether you watch a video, whether you download an app and you count your steps, whether you share and like a comment, we're basically a physician-led social media network that's tied into a health accelerating virtual academy that motivates group leaders and individuals to maybe step up to the plate and play their role, because population health is a team sport. And then, we want to envelop that with a statewide chamber of health system, so that we can celebrate, highlight, and even address issues that need to be addressed more effectively as we lean in towards some competition for My Healthy Arizona as one of the healthiest states in the country and even the world. We've actually got some exciting competition coming up with Pennsylvania launching at the end of the month, Ohio coming up, and we got Nairobi, Kenya, with a population of 4 million already activated, ready for some fun. So I lay that out. Denise Meridith, like I said, has had a tremendous career in both the public, private, nonprofit space. Denise, can you please, I've read all of your books, or at least the adult ones. Probably I read 2 of them. You probably have way more books, but I feel like you write about the state of Arizona like it's actually a character in the book. Share with the audience, like, why are you passionate, what your experience has been, and maybe what are some of your key focus points and why you're excited to launch My Healthy Arizona together.
Okay. Well, I grew up in New York City. That's where I started. But I've been fortunate enough to live all around the country. So I've lived in 6 different states and the District of Columbia twice. So it gives me a really different perspective on things, how things work, different cultures, different attitudes. And I can really say Arizona is the best place. That's why I decided to come and retire here. So I've been here now 27 years, which is hard to believe. We don't have seasons here, so things just zip past. But every year reinforces my opinion of why I'm here and why I need to be here. Arizona is, back east, they would say it's the wild, wild west. And it is in a lot of ways, a lot of open opportunities. Not quite as open as Alaska. Alaska is the place I've seen where people just want to leave everything, go away, disappear. Arizona is not quite like that, but we're very welcoming to new people from anywhere. We have, of course, wonderful climate, as far as I'm concerned, wonderful climate, warm, but no humidity. We have beautiful landscape. In fact, that's why I moved here with the Bureau of Land Management. I was head of the Bureau of Land Management for 7 years here. And we had 14 million acres to play with. So we had 14 million acres of, to me, spectacular stuff. So that rivals the Grand Canyon. We used to say we're in competition with the Grand Canyon. We actually have some areas that are prettier than the Grand Canyon and not as crowded. So I just can't say enough about the healthy environment that we have here. And so here, people come here, you'll see a lot of people hiking and biking, and it's open all year round to do that. So it's a very unique place to live in which you can recreate and use that to better your health all year long. Okay. So I think that's an asset for us. So I came here and I decided to stay here. I retired early from the federal government. And since that time, as you mentioned, I had a nonprofit for 14 years, linking sports and communities, which work with student athletes, 12 to 18 years old. And I've had two for-profit businesses, Denise Meridith Consultants, and which that's where the books come from. That's where I do the books and the public speaking and individual projects that I work on. And then what I am doing right now, and the sign says World's Best Connectors, and that's a virtual
Excuse me.
of CEOs. I say it's of CEOs for CEOs, because we're not a B2B, we're not a B2C, we're a CEO to CEO organization. So we work with other executives to help them really enhance their connections. And we have 5 themes. So we have family, we have employees, clients, government, and the media. And when Lucy started to describe what she was doing here with My Healthy Arizona, I thought, hey, that fits all 5. That fits all 5 of our themes. So because health impacts everything. People don't talk about it, don't like to talk about it, but it actually is the root of everything. If you don't have good health, it doesn't matter what your business, how well it does. Right. So what I'm really excited about being here with Lucy and taking on the challenge of this is to really help Northern Arizona, as you mentioned, which has, I think, what, 80% of the population is in,
That's right. That's okay.
is in Northern Arizona, but 300 people a week moving to Phoenix. I mean, it's crazy. But to me, that also offers a good opportunity. And right now it is September, which means the snowbirds are about to start moving in. So during the winter, we have an even better opportunity because our population suddenly booms to reach people from all over the country. So I used to run the RV parks when I was with the Bureau of Land Management. So you have people that come every year from Pennsylvania, from Maine, from Oregon. So I think with the kinds of things we're talking about, the kinds of outreach we're doing, not only will we be helping Arizonans, but we'll be reaching a lot of tourists here as well that can take that message back to their states. So I'm excited.
And you and I met at through a mutual friend, but over at the Arizona Book Festival, and that wasn't that long ago. That was about December. You
March.
know,
It wasn't even that long. March. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're. What am I thinking? You're absolutely right. March. I come from the background of kind of magazine publishing and always just wanting to put something out there that can help incentivize and improve health resources in the schools. My partner, Dr. Rob Gillio, who is in the state of Pennsylvania, so he's leading things out there out of State College. He is about 3 weeks post-op right now, so he's not able to join us, but we will be launching Pennsylvania at the end of the month, right? September 28th on a couple things. And so it was cool how nimble you are, how innovative and flexible you are, because I think that those are key components when it really comes to creating more collaborative and effective partnerships together. Under your reign of 7 years, for some reason, out of all the things that I've read about all your things, I just assume that you were there for more than 10, 12, 14 years. I keep saying that. But 7 years, I mean, there were 4 national monuments, that you were a part of, the Arizona Trail. And then also a lot of Tempe grew. And Goodyear grew under your reign. So I agree. There is this tie, economic and health, right? Health and wealth that will be in play. And a lot of times people are like, yeah, you're just another app. You're not, but we're really not. We're really trying to gamify this. Everybody, and maybe this wouldn't be so obvious if we didn't just have COVID, right? But we did have COVID. And the first time in anybody's lifetime, really, unless you're 100 years old and went through the Spanish flu, right, in the 20s, really saw firsthand, holy cow, grandma is at risk if she's 350 pounds. I want to learn how to perhaps better support my family so that I don't have to worry if the 20th variant of COVID comes around, right?
Mhm.
We were excited because last week on my mama's birthday, I have a passion for science. We were able to actually officially launch with a dual ribbon cutting, right? We worked with the Tucson Metro Chamber. Shout out to Tammy Jensen and Lucy over there for helping us make that happen. I am a firm believer in chambers of commerce, an aggregator of businesses and community leaders in there. So we did a ribbon cutting. Denise, we didn't even mention, was the original founder of the Arizona Black Chamber of Commerce and very familiar with the whole chamber space. Her Phoenix North team reception was up at the Better Business Bureau. And just because we can, and let's just relive this just a little bit to
We, the
share.
ambassadors of the Tucson Metro Chamber, do hereby proclaim this the day of new beginnings. Whereas, from the traders and the merchants who've traveled the Transcontinental Railway to the Santa Cruz River Valley, to the merchants of today, progress and new beginnings have prevailed. And whereas, those new beginnings have marked the development of Tucson as the saguaro cactus capital, the friendliest city in the nation. And whereas, we wish to congratulate the Force for Health Network on the launch of My Healthy Arizona. We present this proclamation, which carries with it 100 years of good fortune, signed this 31st day of August, 2022, by Michael Diamond, President and CEO of the Tucson Metro Chamber.
One, two, three.
You know, just because we could, just wanted to celebrate that alongside our very first Fit Friday. It will be very exciting as we engage with group leaders. You know, that was just last week. We're now in the process of following up with group leaders. Let me just show you one of my favorite pictures that came out of my South team. Of course, love my selfies, right? But just this single selfie right here with these three gentlemen that took time out of their schedule and showed up is exactly what we were trying to prove. We have leaders from the education, healthcare, civic, public serving space, and private sector showing up. And in this one picture, we have the chief science officers, the director of the Southern Arizona Hub, Tom Wilson, up here, who is joining our South team as an advisory council. We have Andy Heineman in the middle, who is a former teacher, but now runs a fabulous nonprofit called Tucson Values Teachers. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm the daughter of who was the best science teacher in the whole world. And so we are very passionate about supporting teachers in our state. We think that that's critical in improving K through 12 outputs. And then, of course, we have Steve Holmes, who is this gentleman right next to me. Steve Holmes spent most of his career as a teacher, administrator, and most recently, a very successful superintendent of Sunnyside Unified School District, a district on the south side with about 12,000, 13,000 students, but highly innovative, very, very nimble, and loved working with that. So just showing up, putting it out there, perfectly imperfect. This is the type of stuff that gets me excited to, pull people through and really kind of start challenging some of these group leaders in here. Do you have any takeaways from your North Side launch?
It was just a lot of fun. I believe in fun. What exactly? Well, one of the things I like about this whole program, My Healthy Arizona, is the gamification part. Is the ability to reach younger people that we might have with doing things like that. So no, people up here are excited. A lot of people. I got a lot of, well, I can't make it, but I want to be involved. So we're putting together our leadership team right now. And I think, and we've got to catch up. You had a good head start, but we're going to catch up soon.
I had a huge head start. I have I have no doubt that you'll be making that up in no time. We are dividing the state up, and we'll be reaching out to individual counties. So there will actually be a county to county competition. There'll be municipality to municipality, and then kind of greater regions also coming to play. And like I said, we're trying to be a platform that amplifies those who are already doing wonderful things. Social media platform, virtual health challengers and fundraisers, and then of course this lovely mixed media platform that we will start putting out there, like in this format. So Denise, I know that you are on a time limit today. I do want to go into, I think that you can stay for our second guest, right? But before we go into the second segment, I'm going to go ahead and just run a quick little 60-second message from some of our strategic partners, and then we will be right back with Jim Grasham. And Jim is the executive director of the Fiesta de los Bomberos, who supports Southern Arizona firefighters and really the health and safety. And I'm excited to have him as part of our inaugural Fit Friday. So we'll be right back with Jim. Stand by.
Dailies is the leading educational success platform that provides families with the resources they need to help their children succeed. Through live personalized classes with certified educators, rich daily reports, and 24/7 academic support, we provide you with a personalized learning solution designed specifically to help your child surpass their academic goals. We offer supplementary learning experiences through Dailies Pods and a full comprehensive homeschool option through Dailies School. Unlock personalized learning for your child with Dailies.
Okay, so we're back and magically into our second segment here. So again, honored to, it's so interesting when you just kind of show up, right? And so interesting connections can always happen. So this has happened to be one of them, just kind of magically in our hands, because it's just timing wise. It's such an important part of what we are trying to do, which is respect, protect, and honor first responders, or militaries, or nurses, or teachers, etc. So last week I had the honor of meeting Jim Gresham. I'm going to go ahead and pull him into the stream right now. I'm going to kind of take this little border off so we don't like have our heads chopped off there for a second. So Jim, it's nice to meet you. I mean, nice to see you again. Thank you for joining us. And,
Sure.
I know you've got a big, large annual event coming up. I did go ahead and grab a 1-minute recruiting video that Gary Sinise had done for you from your site, and was just going to go ahead and play that really quickly.
Okay.
And then we can kind of jump in, and I was going to ask you a couple of quick questions here. So give me 1 second.
It's a fundraising dinner, auction, and golf tournament that benefits the greater.
Let's try that from the beginning.
Hello, I'm Gary Sinise. I am passionate about showing our gratitude to those in public service who risk their lives to keep us safe. Firefighters are like that. When the men and women of the fire service in Southern Arizona get the call that someone needs help, they go. They are there for us on our worst days. If you had the chance to thank a firefighter, would you? Well, you can by becoming a sponsor of Fiesta de los Bomberos Feast and Fairways. It's a fundraising dinner, auction, and golf tournament that benefits the Greater Tucson Fire Foundation and the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Both organizations are dedicated to protecting those who protect us through cardiac, cancer, and mental health programs, as well as family support. If you value the work that firefighters do to keep us safe, please become a sponsor. If you would like to learn more about this event, please go to feastandfairways.org. While we can never do enough to show our gratitude to our first responders, we can always do a little more. Thank you.
I had to kind of just set the tone with that, right? I mean, that's great. So, Jim, tell us a little bit. Oops, let's take that out of there. Oh, I had another video playing in my head. Okay, sorry. Tell us a little bit about you, your experience. And this is the week leaning into 9/11, which is always just, a required somber remembrance of what happened, 21 years ago. But, both locally here and then within the firefighter space. Tell us about yourself. What do you want the public to know? And how do you reflect this week going into both your event and 9/11?
Well, I've been in the fire service for 42 years. I spent 28 years at Tucson Fire, 14 years at Northwest Fire. I still do a little grant writing for fire departments in Southern Arizona, but most of my time since I've retired has been spent working on the Fiesta de los Bomberos event. We started back in 2007, kind of as part of the growing wave of support for the 9/11, the people that were lost during 9/11 and their surviving families. We initially partnered with the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation. They started a nationwide golf tournament. They had somewhere around 40 golf tournaments going on simultaneously across the country in the month of June. Well, the month of June didn't work out real well for Arizona, so we kind of moved our event closer to the 9/11 date. So we try to be close to that date when we do our annual event. The event right now, the proceeds from the event right now mostly go to the Greater Tucson Fire Foundation. They're kept here locally. We do share a portion of the proceeds with the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation. Both of us have similar missions to honor America's fallen firefighters and provide emotional financial support for their surviving family members. And of course, continue to develop programs that will reduce the number of job-related firefighter deaths and injuries. Our big focus in that regard on the health and welfare side is we're right now spending a lot of money on cancer screenings, heart screenings, and fitness training, and mental health. Right now, since 2015, more firefighters have committed suicide and then have died in the line of duty. So it's a big issue for the fire service. It's a big issue for all the first responders, is the mental health of their workers.
We had yesterday on our Fit Family Force Power Hour, we had a guest who was a New York Police Department retired officer who was actually at 9/11, who has a program because he himself suffered from PTSD and is tackling the mental health issue, that kind of gap between services and resiliency, and then those in the middle there that, it's hard to seek help yourself within that line. You've been in the firefighter space for so long. What are some of the key differences now in 2022 that maybe you didn't necessarily have to deal with maybe 20, 25 years ago, or is it all of the same? To kind of put us in the frame of, and he basically said the same type of stat in terms of the suicide rate within the law enforcement space compared to homicide rates, et cetera, right? It's, I would call that epidemic level. And then you have the fitness component of first responders coming in and having to actually either decrease the fitness level standards or go without, a full staff area. What is the kind of picture right now compared to before?
When I first started on the job, heart attacks were the leading cause of firefighter fatalities, line of duty deaths. That's still a leading cause, but with the development of all the modern materials and chemicals that are out there, cancer has become the #1 killer of firefighters, both line of duty deaths, and after retirement, the cancer catches up with us after 30 years in the job. Mental health is kind of a new issue. Back in the day when I first joined the fire department in '69, you toughed it out. You internalized the daily exposure to the trauma that we would see, and it didn't really serve us well. So now that the departments have become increasingly aware, partly because of the increase in suicides, that is like the second major health issue affecting firefighters. And then the physical fitness piece, the heart health, that's always been with us. The foundation, both the Greater Tucson Fire Foundation and the National Fallen Fire Foundation are supporting peer fitness training, and then of course fitness training for all the firefighters throughout Southern Arizona. Next week, well, not next week, the week after our event on September 19th, the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation will host its fourth Life Safety Summit, and in San Antonio, Texas. And at that summit is where they talk about all the health and safety issues impacting firefighters around the country, perhaps even around the world. And they basically make decisions on what programs, where should they put their emphasis and their efforts, not just through the foundations, but obviously through the fire service as a whole itself.
I have a few more questions that I want to talk through, but I also recognize that my partner in crime does have something that she's going to have to skate out to early. Denise, do you have any final comments or any thoughts here? And then we'll go ahead and let you go.
Yeah, definitely. I have a special appreciation for firefighters, having worked with the Bureau of Land Management as deputy director of the entire agency. So we had the Boise Fire Center, which was a pretty incredible operation for wildfires. And that, so it's always been just something I'm really interested in, protection of our employees as well as their protection of the public. So I really appreciate everything that you're doing. I think that's really exciting and long overdue appreciation of firefighters. So we'll do what we can to support that. And it's, but it's, I don't think people realize the constant pressure that they're under. And tend not to acknowledge it until they actually get rescued or something. And then it's, oh yeah, these guys are pretty good. So, Will, I think this kind of situation that we're in with the Force for Health, I think will be really important to firefighters, policemen, any kind of people in security. And I'm having a workshop on security October 6th up here in Phoenix. Business people, there's a lot of different things you have to think about now. So I appreciate that you've dedicated so much time in your life to such an important issue like that.
Is there a counterpart to Fiesta de los Bomberos in Maricopa County? Because Jim, are you primarily focused on aggregating just Southern Arizona firefighter associations and the supporters? Do you have a counterpart kind of up north?
Well, no, not really. The counterpart for us in the state who has a similar interest with us is the 100 Club. And the 100 Club is an organization that supports law enforcement, fire. I mean, they're broad range, statewide first responder agency. And they work with us on various projects. They typically participate in our event. But as far as a sister organization up in the Phoenix area, and our focus is mainly on Southern Arizona agencies.
Yeah, no, perfect. I was just curious, and Denise is probably, if she doesn't know somebody in that, she's probably 1 degree away from like being able to. So, because in my mind, and as we met up at the University of Arizona Sands Club, right, a couple of days ago, and we talked about this concept of we never know when something's going to happen, right? And so how ready, resilient, and prepared is the average citizen? And, how does the military, prepare and expect their reserve to be, on a fitness level basis? What does the law enforcement, what does firefighter depend on certain fitness levels to be? So I'm kind of excited to work with you and do this kind of, are you as fit as a firefighter type of challenge, or are you as fit as a first responder type of challenge, and really even have a county to county, but then we're both competing against each other, but we're also competing with each other.
Oh, sure.
Because as we go to New Hampshire, right, or Pennsylvania, and we tap the shoulders and say, hey, up for a little challenge there. So we all have our little lanes that we get to fill, but also contributes to the broader cause.
Yeah, there's a 9/11 stair climb on the 11th. I believe it's at the Tucson Community Center. And that's
exactly.
Yeah, and that's again, that's one of the 9/11. One of the things that sprang from 9/11. It's a fundraiser to support essentially those families. So that's an awesome event. Let me tell you, I think that's everybody ought to go out and try that one.
Try to.
Absolutely. In fact, we're going to turn that into a badge for My Healthy Arizona. That if you go do it and you come onto the Force for Health, you go ahead and upload a photo, and we're going to give you a badge for doing that. One of those things. So, Denise, I know you have to go. I don't want you to be late for your next appointment.
Oh, that's all right. Just want to mention really quickly, on October 27th, World's Best Connectors and ASU are hosting our annual conference, and it's going to be at Sky Song. Leading from the Top is what it's called. But I'm really excited this year because the luncheon is going to focus on Force for Health. Because again, what we're going to do at the conference overall is to talk to CEOs about how their job is going to be different in 2023 than it was in 2019. And that's in many different ways. But for the luncheon, we're going to focus on health issues and family issues. So hopefully folks can come up from Tucson for that.
Maybe we should get some 100 club folks in there just for them to start seeing what.
Yeah, their main office is in Phoenix.
Yeah, it is. So,
perfect. Well, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next Friday for Fit Friday when we get leaderboards and started. And then, Jim, I just have a couple more questions that I wanted to run through you. Talk to you later, Denise. Kind of put up here. So, and so the last thing that I kind of wanted to discuss with you is how hard is it to be a firefighter? Are you guys looking for people? Are you pretty set? Is it hard to be a firefighter?
Well, it's gotten a lot harder. I would tell you that. I joined the department in Tucson in '69. We went through 8 weeks of training and went right to work. Today they go through 20 some weeks of training. 22, it could be a little more than that, but 22 weeks of training. And when they come out of that 22 weeks of training, they are ready to hit the streets. So in that regard, the job is more difficult because the fire service has taken on more than it used to. We went from first aid vans to paramedic vans. Now we have registered nurses riding with some of the guys. Or nurse practitioners riding with some of the paramedics. Obviously, the world of hazardous materials has brought a whole slew of dangers that have always been around, but the fire service was ill-equipped, ill-trained to deal with a lot of those issues. Not so much anymore. In fact, they've gotten they're at the point now where they have specialized teams with specialized equipment to cope with those issues. So yeah, I'd say it's a more complex job now. Physically, it's probably no more demanding than it was, but definitely more complex. Yeah.
Is I was going to ask maybe about a kind of a gender mix or a diversity mix. Are there many women in
I couldn't give you a percentage. I would tell you it's not a high percentage, but there are women that have joined the fire service, proven their worth, and doing a great job. So as far as ethnicity goes, I would say the fire departments in Southern Arizona mirror the communities they serve as far as ethnicity goes. So I'd say and I would tell you that's a focus all of the departments have. And then as far as the women's side of that, there's definitely women that want that challenge. And when they step into that arena and learn what it is, much like a male stepping into that arena, they'll know pretty quick if that's the job they want to do. And but I don't know how much interest there is. I do know that I think the publicity or the publicizing of the hazards of the job that has occurred recently, with cancer being at the forefront now and some of the other issues, they're not getting as many applicants for the openings. The departments in this area are going through a transition. A lot of folks are retiring, opening the door for others to come to follow. And I can remember when the city would test for firefighter, they'd get 2,000 or 3,000 applicants. They only get about 1,000 to 1,500 now. So they're not getting as many applicants. I'm not sure why, but I know it's an issue because the 22-week process, even the testing process, does a great job of weeding out those who don't quite demonstrate the muster that they need. And then the 22-week training period really whittles it down to those who really want to be a public servant and do the job. And it's a difficult job at times.
Just some kind of final thoughts. I kind of want to maybe come back to 9/11. I don't think you were on the earlier segment. If my partner wasn't 3 weeks post-op, literally neck and back surgery, he would be here right now. He's based out of Pennsylvania, 30 plus years as a Mayo trained pulmonologist. And he did play kind of a key role in the World Trade Center registry, which basically was the mechanism to make sure that all those first responders got the funding that they needed to, continue to watch that all this soot or all these things coming into the lungs. I mean, he was pulled in because his, I don't even think we have this presentation from yesterday's deal, but I just kind of pulled up a couple quick, he got pulled in because the fire department was great. They had the process, but the New York Police Department did not. And his buddy at the time was working with them and said, "Hey, get down here. I need your help." And they literally popped up a clinic with, laptop, an actual science experiment project that he was working with his 8th grade daughter on. He literally had a laptop and he had a pulsometer in there. He had a heart rate monitor. He had all these things connected before kind of telemedicine was. Packed it all up, brought his volunteers, brought the church people. And so it really was a citizen's response coming in and quickly training and doing baseline testing. So it's very near and dear to his heart. He wrote a book on it. And so
very important, especially for the people in ground zero.
Yeah, exactly. And, when you say increasing cancer rates, I mean, cancer rates don't happen from something that happened yesterday. They happen over time. Right. I know that there was some foam issue that I think you guys was one of the issues. I'm sure that's just one of the many issues that caused that. But I also maybe want to, this whole concept of reality health is not just a, hey, how much do you weigh? How do you feel type of thing. It really is hopefully being able to help citizens understand and recognize that, caring for a senior is hard. Making sure that they don't fall so they don't have to call the fire department and take them to the ambulance, and, like just more preventative things so that we're all a little bit more ready, and minimizing risk-averse situations, right? So that hopefully that'll help you guys not have to deal with the folks that can't, quite frankly,
they have
cope and deal, right?
Most of your departments have layered programs that deal with the younger kids, teenage kids, younger adults, if you will, and then of course seniors, and they're all in that preventative issue. They're all focusing on preventing someone from falling, from getting injured at whatever job
But
or
80% of the emergency room visits for
Right.
seniors are from falls.
Yeah.
Or, 80% of the seniors that break a hip have just cut their lifespan by, 60, 70%, whatever this.
I just had my annual physical. That's the first question they asked me. Have you fallen in the past year? No, not yet.
And
Yeah.
my partner he is a senior, right? But he's
Yeah.
also caring for two mothers. His mother
Yeah.
is 94 years old. His mother-in-law is 93 years old. And so that's why we've created this content called Senior Force, or, case studies, compassionate care, so that we know how to prevent things. Or at least you can't prevent everything, but at least we can be cognizant of some
Sure.
of the things that we can
Yes.
do. But kind of wrapping it up, we're in Tucson. I'm sure you were around, when Christina Taylor Green and Gabby Giffords did the Beyond. September 11th is horrific in many ways, but it is a reminder that great things can happen any day also. That was the day that Christina Taylor Green was born. She was a 9-year-old at the corner, doing a civic duty, supporting Congresswoman Gabby Giffords.
Right.
Got shot. She was actually the inspiration for what we then launched as My Girl Power here. I'll just kind of pull up a couple.
John
Yeah,
Green,
go ahead.
John Green's attended our Fiesta event for the last.
I'm sure Roxanne and John are so
he's been at
special.
everyone. Yeah.
The
he's a wonderful man.
Exactly, and there's a little tie to Tucson from 9/11. This is an angel art piece that sits out at La Cañada Park. That was part of one of the planes,
Nice.
just to give some honor and some reflection to Christina Taylor Green. So I never like to let 9/11 go by without recognizing both the horrific but beautiful things that can happen on any given day, and it's just a matter of how ready we are for it. So with that being said, thank you so much, Jim, for joining. I look forward to, I know you're busy and you're going to get through your stuff, and hopefully I got to check something on the schedule. Hopefully there's maybe a dinner ticket left, and I would love to come join. I think you guys are all sold out for the golf tournament, right?
Sold out the golf. We have room at the dinner. If you'd like to come, let me know, and we can hook you up.
I would love to do that. I'll follow up with you later. And then I'm excited to thank you for wanting to lean in. You said, count us in, whatever we need to do, right? And I love that type of attitude. It's kind of what it takes. So have a wonderful weekend. Any final thoughts for the community as, we lean into 9/11 and your upcoming event?
Well, I just think that the community has responded to us over the years. We've grown from an event of some 200 to nearly 600 for the dinner. We've had great community support. We can't thank the community enough for that support. And as far as this year goes, we're pretty full up, but our event next year, same time next year, third weekend in September, and we're probably going to be back at the casino. We're at the Casino del Sol Resort, so we'll probably be back there again next year.
Well, wonderful. I look forward to working with you. You have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you at your event. Okay.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You bet.